Okay, so I'm going to do a quick little video, sort of how-to on how to do the EGR block-off plate for the Mazdaspeed 3, and I think it's probably the exact same for the Speed 6. I already have my car pulled apart already because I messed up the turbine on my turbo, which is another story and possibly another video that I might upload. That's hard to see, but it's all screwed up in there. But anyhow, yeah, so basically you got to take your air box or air intake out and your battery, and well, I don't know, maybe you don't have to, but it just gives you more room. And there's the top of the engine there. The EGR block-off plate goes right here. I already have it installed, but I found if I undid these bolts here and pulled the tube back and then tried to stick the plate in, it was next to impossible to do up again, especially if you pull on this too hard. It slightly bends and you'll never get those bolts. Well, I don't know, some people have, but I couldn't get the bolts to thread back in nicely, and I didn't want a chance stripping the threads in the actual, I don't know if that's actually on the block, but I don't know, it sucked to strip those. Anyway, I found the best thing to do is if you follow this pipe, I'll try and get a light here, it goes kind of to the base of the throttle body, which would be right there, but I already pulled it off. Can't remember if I had to actually pull the whole throttle body off or not, but if you see that nut that's kind of illuminated, I'll try and point to it here. Right there. If you loosen that, I don't think I had to actually pull the whole thing out, but if I loosened it quite a bit, it'd give this tube some play, so I could actually get that plate in and I started the threads on these bolts. I actually just ended up using some longer bolts that I found it ended up working because it's open behind here. I can't remember if it's open underneath, but maybe it isn't. But anyway, if you get the right size bolt for the bottom, you can use a longer bolt here, no problem. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're not bottoming out on this bottom one, so you can do it up tightly. Anyway, with the tube loose, I could then start the threads, and I put that block-off plate in there, and you might be able to see I got some RTV compound just because I didn't want it to leak again, because it's a pain in the ass to pull out your intake and everything. But anyhow, so yeah, once these were started a fair ways, I went, no, maybe I tightened these all the way first, and then I get that bolt here back up, and yeah, no problem from there. But yeah, you might not have to actually take the whole throttle body off. I ended up taking it off for other reasons that kind of had to do with my turbo getting bent up, but anyway, I just have my actual throttle body zip tied here because I didn't want to undo the coolant lines, just so it's out of the way. But yeah, the EGR block-off plate on, I also put in a catch can. They actually do a really good job of keeping your intake nice and clean. So when I first got this car, if you looked in the intake manifold, it was all sludged up. But now, I don't know if you can see, probably had the catch can on for a little over a year, and the EGR plate, block-off plate, maybe, I don't know, 5 months or something like that. It's pretty damn clean inside there. It's actually insane how different it used to be. It used to be just black. It just looked oily and full of soot. So it actually makes a huge difference. It actually cleaned up over time, which is impressive. I didn't do anything like a seafoam or anything like that. But anyway, that's how you put the EGR block-off plate on. Sorry I don't have more steps on how to take off the intake and everything, but it's not too bad. You should be able to figure it out if you're going to attempt this, I guess. But yeah, the biggest thing I think people worry about is the p0401 code that comes on, turns your check engine light on. If you're using the Cobb Accessport, it's actually really easy to shut off, and I will show you how to do that next. Okay, so I'm trying out with a different camera here because I couldn't get the screen to show you the steps for shutting off that engine code. Should come out clear on the computer with my other camera, so I'll just try this again. Anyway, to shut off the p0401 code with the Accessport, it's pretty easy. You need to get the Access Race Tune software. It's free when you buy the Accessport. You just have to give Cobb, I think, the serial number off the back here. And yeah, they'll send you an email with a link to download the software. Anyway, so you just go ahead and hook up your USB to your Accessport. Just forgive the camera here. And then plug in your Accessport to the computer. And you don't need a very powerful computer to run the Race Tune software. My computer's a piece of junk, but it works. Anyway, open up your Access Tune software, or whatever it's called. I'll just show you this first. Your Accessport manager, which is like that. You can make a file on your computer. Ignore that message. It has nothing. It won't usually say this. It's just something I did. So this is my Accessport, and these are all the maps I have on here. So let's say I want to use. I had the stage 2 with the intake, turbo in the hose, intercooler there, 93 octane. So I select that one because it was working good for me. Whatever one you want. I save it to my computer. I just made a file called maps on my desktop, or Accessport maps or something. So yeah, save it and then go into the Race Tune software and file, load map. So there's my stage 2, and then open. Just load it a little bit here, and yeah, it's really easy. You just go edit. I'm not changing anything else, so I don't want to mess with my map because it's working good for me, and I would probably blow something up if I did that because I don't know what I'm doing. But anyhow, go to your advanced parameters, and it'll open up advanced engine parameters, and you can see the p0401 there is checked. Just uncheck it, hit OK, and then you just go file, save map, and then you can type in whatever you want here, and that's what it'll display on the Accessport when you try and load the map on your car. And yeah, a long description. I just left that alone. I'm sure it doesn't matter. And then I just ended up calling it full stage 2 minus p0401, and then I hit finish. I'm not going to do it because I've done this already. I don't want to overwrite my other one, not that it matters, but anyhow. So yeah, you'd hit finish, exit out of your Race Tune software, and then go back into your Accessport manager. And there's this little icon right here, import files to Accessport, and I got my maps, and I had saved it right here, full stage 2 minus p0401. Click that, hit open. Like I said, I've already done this, so I'm not actually going to load it, and then it should show up here because these are the maps on your Accessport, I believe. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done it, and that's it. Then you just eject your app, Accessport not connected, disconnect it from your computer, and then yeah, you just plug in your Accessport into your vehicle, like you do every other time to load a map, and follow the instructions on the screen. And when you choose your map, you should be able to choose the one without the code.